Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason and welcome to this whiskey review where today we're going to be reviewing the Glenfarclas 15-year-old. So I actually was going to review the Glenfarclas 12-year-old until I had a check at this bottle and then realized it evaporated. And if you guys haven't seen the video where I did a live stream with the Scotch Test Dummies over on their channel, I'll see if I can leave a card linked in the top corner. Basically, I opened this from my trio pack and this evaporated. Well, I think I drank about up to half and then I left the rest of it. And what you don't do is leave miniatures with bad capsules open in a hot house because they start to evaporate and some of them don't look like whiskey anymore, especially if they oxidize a lot. So we're going to have to skip the Glenfarclas 12-year-old and go straight into the Glenfarclas 15-year-old. Now, this is something I actually bought as a pack, and with this one, I'll see if I can leave maybe an image somewhere on the screen. I got this one with a miniature of the 21 and the 25. So it was a really great offer. I think I spent about £54 on the whole pack, and it gave me an opportunity to try the 21 and 25, see if I want to go and get a bottle. So I'll pour myself a dram to begin the video. And I'm not sure if in the last video I actually mentioned what Glenfarclas means, and it means Valley of the Green Grass in Scotch Gaelic. So some of you will also be wondering in the last video what happened to this. Basically, I left this for about over a year and a half. I think it's been 2 years since I actually bought the bottle and since I revisited it. And lo and behold, tried to open it and the cork split. And as you can see, the remnants were left there. And there are a couple different techniques to opening or removing a cork once they're stuck in a bottle. I've actually got a couple over here in the studio, which I might do a YouTube tutorial because there's different ways you can use a carrier bag, well actually more or less a sandwich bag to actually get the bottle cork out. There's different ways you can use a corkscrew. I use an actual screw with a drill. So there's different ways to open your bottles and it can just help you because at the end of the day, you don't want your cork disintegrating, falling into your whiskey and then ruining it so you don't get to enjoy a dram, especially if you spent a lot of money on a bottle. You don't want it to go to waste. So the Glenfarclas 15-year-old. With my review style structure, I love the nose in this whiskey. It is a 15-year-old whiskey bottled at an ABV of 46%, so it's a bit higher than the others in the core range. This one is from the Glenfarclas distillery. It is owned by the family company J&G Grant and it is located in the Speyside region of Scotland. So a price point on this one, approximately for the full-size bottle of this, it used to be around about £40–45. It's currently going today at about £50. And sometimes with these gift pack options, it can go up to about £60, but I would say no more than that. So equivalent US dollars, euros, etc. So in terms of exclusivity, it's not an exclusive whiskey. It is part of the core range, so it's a staple in the Glenfarclas portfolio. And without further ado, let's dive into what we have on the nose for this whiskey. So, into the nose. So, initial impressions on the nose of this whiskey, and this is just a whiskey I love the nose off. Wow, it is just, puts a smile to my face. This whiskey, straight away on the nose, first impressions, Christmas cake. You're getting that nice, rich Christmas cake, not overly matured Christmas cake, but just enough time that you're getting the juiciness from those fruits. You're getting sweet raisins, red apple. You're getting a little bit of, for me, it reminds me of like you get these mueslis and it's got like raisin and apple, like dried red apple. It's kind of like that as a mix together. What do you call it? Oh, dried oranges, muscovado sugar, a sweet, sort of even like a sort of caramel note on this one. Figs, and this is like fresh, ripe figs. Sweet tobacco. And there's even a soft, spicy note on this one. Oh, this is more, for me, this is more towards, I'd say, sweet cloves, but it's really soft, not as powerful and vibrant as some cloves can be. This is gentle, sweet cloves. Such a great whiskey to go to. Anyway, without further ado, let's move into the palate next. The nose of this is just lovely. Into the palate, Slanger. Wow. First impressions on the palate for this whiskey. Texture-wise, you're looking at more of a richer texture compared to the 10-year-old. you've got that step up, and definitely texture-wise, you've got more of a medium body to the whiskey. Nice, probably medium full. It's got a nice sort of, it develops on the palate the longer you keep it there. But straight away, flavor profile-wise, you're looking at a little bit of a soft candied ginger, adding that little bit of spice and maybe even a dash of a cinnamon stick, which adds a little bit of heat, but it's more or less a sweet spice. Moving our way more into the palate, for me, I'm finding a lot of stewed fruits. It's like stewed plums, but you're stewing these first before anything else. And you put the plums in with the skin, so a full plum. And when you take a taste of that, you're getting that little bit of that tannic quality coming from the skins. From there, you're moving into more prunes, raisins, figs, but all stewing in their juices. Really nice, juicy dram. It does have a soft sweetness that comes off from the back, almost like a malty, chewy, malty sweetness. And from there you go into those dark, rich cherries, raspberry syrup, and there's even a touch of vanilla, but it's ever so gentle because you've got a lot of these stewed fruits taking center stage on the palate. I want to dive in for a second sip, so I'll take a second sip and cover the notes on the finish for this whiskey. So on the finish for this whiskey, the overall finish does have a nice medium long length to the finish of this whiskey. You do get those stewed fruits, again, back on the finish of this whiskey, but as they stay there longer, more towards the back of the palate, as it works its way to the front of the palate, you develop this slight sort of almost oaky, I'd say. And to me, I'm probably pushing more towards a raspberry tea, where you get the fruity profile, but then it starts to go a little bit dry on the front of the palate. And that's just over time keeping it on the palate. But overall, this whiskey is a very, very nice dram. And it's something that I'm going to definitely finish the rest of that just after the review. Overall though, in terms of nose palate finish, I'll actually give you the score first. And I'm going to give this one here a, see if this actually stays, 89 points out of 100. Oops. Let's see if we get it. 89 points out of 100. Reason behind that, overall quality of this dram, from the nose to the palate to the finish, it is really good quality. The only issue I feel on the palate, on the actual overall of this one, is on the finish, where it does have that slight sort of dryness to it. However, that can vary because I have tried different batches of Glenfarclas 15-year-old, and some have just been absolutely superb. And when you say value for money at £50, it's a no-brainer. So in terms of value for money, definitely yes, this is a value for money dram. It's one of actually, I think, last year, no, 2 years ago, just been quite some time, 2 years ago in my Christmas recommended malts video, actually, I think it was Christmas drams, I recommended the Glenfarclas 15 because it's just very good value for money, and the profile it gives you is just nice, rich, sherried fruits. Beautiful. So, value for money, yes. Doesn't need time or water. I would say give it a little time in the glass. It's one that doesn't need it because, as you saw, I went straight from pouring to giving you the review, but I have gone past the shoulder now on this bottle, so you can give it some time, let it breathe, and just explore the dram further. Give it time and see what it has to give you. In terms of add water, you can if you're finding it maybe a little bit too hot with those little bit of spices, but again, it's optional and it's completely up to you. So that is my score for the Glenfarclas 15-year-old, 89 points out of 100. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And if you guys have enjoyed the video, feel free to drop it a thumbs up as a like. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, which I'll leave over here on the screen. And that's going to be me, JasonWhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all for the next video. Slàinte.